Okay, let's move on to vertebral column. You have 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar. You have a sacrum, and you have a tailbone, which is called coccyx, a tailbone. It's a vestigial bone. We don't really need that. I mean, there's some muscles of the pelvic floor, but okay. So let's address vertebrae. So first of all, let's take a look at the vertebral column. You can see that it's not straight. It's not straight. It's bent. Any idea why? It works like a spring. That makes sense? There are 4 curvatures: cervical, thoracic. So, yeah, look. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacrum. Does that make sense? Now, if you have access to a newborn, grab a newborn and put a newborn on your arm and look at the newborn's back. And it's going to be shaped like this. There are no curvatures. Newborns lack cervical and lumbar curvatures. They don't have them. Does that make sense? When do they develop them? They develop cervical curvature when they start lifting the head. And they develop lumbar curvature when they start lifting their back, basically sitting or standing. Good? So what do you need to know about the vertebral column? You need to know 5 types of vertebrae, first of all. 2 unique vertebrae that I'm trying to find the second one. Okay, good. 2 unique vertebrae. First and second cervical. So this is the first cervical vertebrae. This vertebrae is called Atlas. If you're familiar with Greek mythology, you know why. No? It was a titan who was holding sky on his shoulders. So what Atlas does as a vertebrae, it holds your head. Does that make sense? Okay? So the occipital condyles of the cranium here, they articulate with the lateral masses here, allowing you to say yes. Okay? Just lost it. Oh yeah, there we go. This, look, is axis. You see that little projection here? This projection is called dens, which means tooth. And this is how it looks. There is a ligament that goes around the dens, and that allows Atlas to rotate. I'm trying to, my fingers are in. Okay, see that? So you can say no. Are we good so far? I'm going to go back to this too, because now I want to take a typical cervical vertebrae. This part of any vertebra is the spinous process. Okay? We good so far? This part here is called body of the vertebrae. Okay? This is the vertebral arch. Now, how can you tell apart the cervical vertebrae from any other? Any cervical vertebrae will have relatively small body. The opening in the center, where spinal cord goes through, is triangular. Can you see that? And the spinous process, this will be a better example, is what's called bifid. You see 2 prongs coming out. Also, all cervical vertebrae have this transverse foramen, and they are unique. The openings here on the sides, transverse foramen. That's for accessory nerve. You may notice that first cervical vertebrae has no body. Instead, dens serves as the body of the first cervical vertebrae. Thoracic vertebra. Body is bigger. No transverse foramina. You do have spinous process pointed down. Vertebral foramen is circular, and transverse processes are very, very pronounced. And then finally, lumbar vertebrae. Massive body, triangular triangular vertebral foramen, and from the side it looks like a moose. It really does. The spinous process is hatchet-shaped. Now, an interesting feature, interesting difference between the thoracic part and the lumbar part. Thoracic vertebrae, they're not interlocking, so you can do this. But there's no rotation in the lumbar area, because lumbar vertebrae, when they articulate, I don't know even if I grab the right ones. It's L1, L2, and that's L3. Yeah, it's the right ones. Okay. You see how the articulating processes are shaped? They lock them. They can't move against each other. Thoracic can. Okay, so basically, I show you this on the image. Tell me, oh, that's lumbar. I show you this on the image. And tell me, oh, that's thoracic. So I'm not going to ask you which number it is. It's all good. Okay? Sacrum. Apparently, I don't have, well, I do. I mean, we all have sacrum. So here's the sacrum. Okay? Basically 5 vertebrae fused together. You can see sacral canal here. That's where the cauda equina goes, extension of the spinal cord. And the sacral nerves are passing through sacral foramina. Does that make sense? The sacral promontory articulates with the 5th lumbar vertebrae. And these sides of the sacrum right here, they form sacroiliac joint. Sacroiliac joint. Okay?